I completely forgot. Is that what I want to do? Yeah, we'll start there. Hi, I'm Eileen, and we're in my garden, and it's the end of March. I am in southeastern Minnesota in the zone formerly known as 4B, now 5A, and it is kind of chilly. It's in the 40s. The beginning of the month actually started off super warm, unseasonably warm, frighteningly warm, and in the last week or so we've caught up on some of our snow and rain. It was wet and very cold and miserable, but we got a lot of much needed precipitation, which is great, and makes me very glad that I haven't done a lot of cleanup out here just yet, because I don't want to leave all of the plants exposed, because a lot of them aren't quite ready for spring yet. However, it is going to start getting increasingly warmer over the next week, and so I really wanted to get out here today and do some tidying up in the beds. I'm going to finish my redesign project, part of the redesign project, because knowing me, it's going to change halfway through, or I'll never finish it, or I'll come up with a completely different idea halfway through the summer and scrap everything. What I'm going to have to do first is, as you can see, there's a lot of crap laying around. I finally got some yard bags from Menards, and just going to start doing some cleanup, and then I will relay the borders of the two beds that I have altered, and I'm probably going to end up moving that archway that I agonized over. So come along, why don't you, and watch me make a plan, then ignore it, then go back to it, then ignore it again, then completely change it, then forget what I was doing in the first place. Here we go. So I envision this kind of bumping out a little bit, but the more I've stared at the outline, I think I want to make it a little bit smaller. So I still need to move some of the soil around. There's some stones here that I have to get up. Just FYI, this is by no means a how-to. This is a how I do, which is with little to no planning, as I mentioned earlier, and little to no precision. I'm just sort of making it up as I go along, which is what I always do, and it's worked out fine so far. So if you're watching me reconfigure my beds and clutching your pearls, don't worry. It's my garden. Works for me. Whatever you do for you, works for you. Hopefully. I just found something kind of cool. This is mint. And I just found a big hunk of it, whoops, under where my grass is. And it's growing. Around here, this stuff will take over, and it has crawled all over my yard, but I really don't mind too much. I'm pulling this out because it's in my way, but generally when mint pops up, I end up using it. So it's not too terribly invasive. If I remember later, maybe I'll stick this in some water just to see what happens. My friend, thank you. Much like over here, I'm going to slightly alter my original lines because I want this pathway to be a little bit wider. Look at this big guy. Whoa. He's huge. Feels very weird to me to be making beds smaller rather than bigger, but I know I'm gonna have roughly the same space, like size-wise. It's just configured differently, but it feels really weird because pretty much up until this year, so in the almost 7 years we've been in this house, every year I've added more beds and made them bigger. And this year I'm reconfiguring. I'm not making them that much smaller, but it feels like I am, and it feels weird. New border. I really like how it looks so far. We'll see if I feel that way in a couple months. And then this side also has a nice crisp edge now. I don't totally love that the, I can't do that, that the curves don't match up, but you know, a lot of curves don't match up. So now the decision is, I moved my archway and I wanted it to line up with the door because that made my brain happy as far as symmetry, but my two best climbing roses, this one and this one, I just moved them last year and they're not, I would have to move them again to line them up with the archway. And I'm really hesitant to move them this year again after moving them last year. So I'm kind of thinking that I will put the archway not quite where I want for this year and sort of split the difference, and then maybe move the roses next year, because I just really don't want to stress them out too much, and I really want pretty climbing roses over that archway. So yeah, let's do that. Here is the area where I need to move some stuff, and this will actually work out pretty well because last year this part of this bed was just an area where I was trying to grow on some perennials that I had grown from seed last year with winter sowing, and I also had some irises that I divided from out front. that I put here. There's another one over there. And I believe this is Honesty, which I've never grown before. So I think it should flower this year. But there's one here, there's one over there, and then there's a patch of bee balm there that I've been meaning to divide. This is just daisy, I think just oxeye daisy. And there's more there. And then right there is some perennial onion, the Millennium. And over there is another iris and more Honesty, I believe. Daisy iris. So this is actually a great opportunity for me to move these. And I've been wanting to get better about planting in swaths rather than just dotting things around. So now I have a few of each thing. I'm gonna try to find some place I can group them together. What do you think? I don't love that this doesn't line up with my door, but it's more about making sure the roses are healthy. So I would rather have them grow on for another year before I move them again. So we're gonna go with it. Okay, I think the climbing roses will be happy here, and this is part of one project down. I think there's probably a million more to go, which is just fine. I'm gonna keep working out here, and I will probably bring you along when I start doing my big division of all my perennials, because a lot of them need to be split this year. But in the meantime, I would love to know what you think I should do with the bed where the chicken coop used to be. So my chicken coop used to be here, and I had this hole from here over to the fence was all chicken area last year. And as you can see, there's only a few ladies left. They are getting to retirement age, and so they don't need quite as much space. So that's another project to make this work a little bit better, but it does mean that I now have all of this space. And there is a big tree here. There's also big trees here. But as you can see, this faces south that way. So it's very sunny in the spring. It'll be a great spring garden. This is all shady most of the summer, and this will probably be part sun. So if you have any suggestions for what I should do in this area, I believe I'm gonna try and get a tree for right here, probably some sort of evergreen, so that when I look out here from the windows in winter, there's a little bit of color. But everything else, I'm not quite sure yet what I wanna do. So if you have suggestions, I would love to hear them. Well, wherever you're gardening, I hope you're able to get out and enjoy some springtime sometime soon. Happy gardening!